welcome back, TKD legends and fellow martial artists and combat enthusiasts. Here it is the K-Man with Amit.
Hello guys,
Hello everyone. Amit Ali, great last name for a boxer, wouldn't you say? Yes, and what's your fight name, Amit?
The Ring Hawk.
The Ring Hawk, because when you see Amit fight, he's a boxer. He's a classical, beautiful style, great moving boxer. So we had a training session today just so I could share maybe a little bit of software with him. Now, Amit has good hardware, he punches well, but maybe the application and the control and the ethos of the fight, we can work on the software. We worked at a couple of things today, which I'd like to share with you. Now, Amit's, you got the national championships coming up and you're still amateur, you've had 9 fights, then you're going to the Golden Gloves and then you want to turn pro.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So he's a very ambitious guy and he wants always open to learning. So let's have a look at 2 things. We'll cover 2 things that we covered today. We covered about half a dozen things.
Absolutely.
Yes, that will make you maybe apply your great hardware so you can win a fight. So one of these are common things, and a lot of people when they punch, they do what I call a 2-beat punch.
Yes.
Right, and you know, a lot of time they don't hit because they give the opponent the first beat to say, "Hey, I'm punching," then the punch goes. So if we go back to how we started when we first started, now you've changed even after our training session. This is what we call a 2-beat punch. Now, he's got a great jab and he's actually quite fast. But at the start, after about 10 punches, he couldn't hit my pad once, even though he's fast, because he was telling me what he's going to do. So a 2-beat punch goes like this. So if Amit is there, if he's going to throw a punch, right, the jab, and the goal here is for him to hit my pad before I move the pad. So if we go back to what you're doing now, okay, so this is what he was doing at the start. So I'm going to put it up and punch when you're ready to go. Go. Punch as fast as you can. There we go. So as you can see, he's never going to hit it.
Exactly.
Right? Unless I make a mistake.
Yes.
And even though the punch itself is fast, if you were watching, he was telegraphing that he's going to throw the punch. So if he's through the punch, it's a little something like that. Now if we do the opposite, and I'm going to punch him, right, and there's his glove, and I'm here, and if he moves it, he's pretty quick, and he's about 30 years younger than me too, so he should be able to kick my backside, you know. However, a lot of time this isn't about speed, but efficiency and timing. And if you 2-beat, you always be beaten by someone who 1-beat. So this is what we call 1-beat punch. From here he has to move it before I actually throw the punch. So he's guessing when I'm going to throw the punch.
Absolutely.
So I should eat him, because what I'm doing is I'm not going 1, 2. I'm just going 1, 1.
Yeah.
So to develop that skill, the first thing to do is to relax and take all the power out and try to just get the timing and the relaxation of just going 1, 1, rather than 1. Where you try to tense it up to increase power. So you can add power later, but it's no use having power if you're missing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? You're missing everything. So when we look at doing 1-beat punching, I'll grab my pad and we've been working on it. So there's millions of people watching now a bit. So you're going to do 1-beat. The other aspect which we covered was also when because he's a boxer, if you take the guard you used to take up, that's how he faced. Now that to me is someone who fights inside, but he's actually a long-range fighter.
Yes.
So if I'm going to face up to Amit, I'm going to be, if Amit faces up to me, right, and I'm like that, if you're going to face up to me, go further back, take the distance you would be if you're going to fight me. You probably get that close, right?
Yes.
Right, because you've got a bit of space.
Absolutely.
So now we're pretty much in that closer range. But if I've got a great jab, which you have, and I want to keep control of the distance, if you move back again, and I jab my position here, if you move in now, what distance are you going to be at? He's going to stay a bit further away.
Absolutely.
So just by where your hands are will determine the distance that they will set themselves. So you can actually control the distance.
Exactly.
Right? Plus, the jab only has to go half the distance. Bang! Rather than coming from way behind in your territory, past the enemy lines to the target. We want you to just get on the fringe of the enemy lines, and then it's just there. So there's 2 little things that we covered today to maybe try to stop you from being a 2-beat puncher, because 2-beat punching, if you go 1, 2, they're going to move their head and you keep missing. But if they're in range with the 1-beat, bang, you will always hit them. 100% of the time. The only thing you have to do is get them within your range, which is another session. So if we go now to admit and we start to work on turning that into a one-beat puncher, with maybe not doing the Mike Tyson style, but more the classical boxing style, which you are a classical boxer.
Yes.
Classic. So we're going now here, and I'm going to bring it up, and you have to now hit it before I move it. Alright, now I don't even have a... Relax, you're tensing up. If you feel yourself tensing, you've got to relax. As soon as you tense, to tense you have to relax before you punch.
Yes.
So just going from tense to relax the punch is 2 beat.
2 beats.
2 beat is you're giving me, the 2 beat isn't always necessarily this, it could be the facial expression or the relaxed and punch. 1, 2.
2. Yeah.
You should just be relaxed. 1.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah, see? You reacted to it.
Yes.
So don't react to the opponent. Throw the punch when the opponent has no idea when you're going to throw it, rather than be predictive.
Yeah.
That's a lot better. So that's a nice little drill to work with. Now with admit he likes to move around a lot.
Yes.
So the first thing I said, if you want to recondition this, you have to stop the moving around, because your moving around is sometimes the 1, 2 or 1, 2. So your movement is the first beat. So first thing you want to do is go back to poker face, just here. So you're just there, relax. Bah! 1. Rather than going bah, because you give me a signal when you're going to throw the punch. So when you're relearning this, you have to go back, wipe the slate clean, go back to poker face and just drill the mechanics of the firing. So like a gun, if I've got a gun and I'm shooting you and I go bang, you duck before I shoot. If I just go bang, if I'm doing this, bang, you give me a clue somewhere in that movement that there's a beat there that I'm going to pick up when I know you're going to fire.
Yeah.
You have to fire when they have no understanding on when you're going to actually fire.
Absolutely.
Then you can incorporate that into your typical movement pattern and you fire them when they don't know they're going to fire. But you have to go back to wipe the slate, go back to mechanics, poker face, relax. Bah! I know a great example of this is Bruce Lee behind you here. If you watch, if you watch the movie,
absolutely,
Enter the Dragon,
yes,
when he lines up with Bob Wall, and he's in that position, and Bruce Lee just goes, it's just so lightning. It's one of the classic movies, and he just relaxes, bang, and everyone gets, holy cow! That's a classic example of a one-beat punch.
Yes,
because it's actually impossible for you to stop my punch if it's one beat. Because all I have to do is I have one neuromuscular function. All I have to do is to go brain, activate the nerves to the muscle, and go bang. The opponent, you have 2 things you have to do. You have to see it, then activate your muscles to get out of the way. So you have two processes. You only have one. I'm always going to beat you unless I give you a 1, 2. Means I give you the opportunity to see it and fire.
Yes.
But don't give the opportunity to see it, just fire.
Fire, absolutely.
And then you're going to find that you're going to hit your opponent a lot more, particularly if they sneak into your range or you draw them into your range. Bang!
Boom.
But if you don't, you're more likely to miss because they will flinch or get out of the way. So there's your tip. Go back to, going back to one-beat punching, and you may have to go back to just setting everything back in and just recondition your body not to create those little or it might be a breath, it might be a flinch, it might be a tension. Get rid of that, and then your jab is going to hit more times than not.
So true.
Yeah. So take that on board.
Absolutely.
Okay. And
I'm gonna put it in my tools, and my arsenal is gonna get massive and bigger.
And as I said to him, any new skill that you develop, it's going to take at least 12 months.
Absolutely.
Before it plays out naturally.
Practice makes you perfect. So
Exactly
I'm gonna go and now clean the skateboard, drill it again and again to make sure I do it right.
Yes, yes. Yeah, they say practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't. Perfect practice.
Perfect practice. Perfect. So true.
See you in the next TKD performance tips.
Can't never win in front of Kman.
Champion.
Absolutely.